Help, I'm fat! Hey everyone, it's Graeme Street and you're joining me here for my first set of rider question and answers for 2015. I hope you had a good holiday season with your family. Hopefully didn't have too much bourbon and eggnog and cheesecake like I probably did. Today I'm going to be trying to answer some of your questions that I've been getting. I get a lot of questions this time of year, starting with Charles. I like this kind of question. Help, Graeme, I'm a fat cyclist. At least that's how I feel. I'm 47, I have 2 kids, I work from home, about 50 hours a week of work, not much time for training. I got really fit last year, I lost 17 pounds, started riding more than I ever have before. I've been riding for 5 years. The holidays killed me and put most of my weight back on. Now feeling sluggish, unmotivated, and slightly depressed. What do I need to do? I'm mad at myself for losing last year's results. Charles, most important thing is to stop being so mean to yourself or feeling guilt in relation to gaining some weight over the holidays or losing your fitness. I can relate. I think one of the biggest things that we deal with as an everyday cyclist is making progress per year and then losing some of that, if not sometimes all of that progress, and then feeling like a failure or feeling like we've done something wrong or feeling anxious. This is part of being a cyclist. And the alternative, of course, is to try to maintain your fitness and your happiness about your riding ongoing forever. And in Never Never Land, that may work. And if you can do that, great for you. I can't. I don't know many cyclists that can. So the first thing that I tend to do after the holidays, and trust me, I don't feel my normal svelter self like I did just a few months ago. It happens. The first thing that I try to do is focus on getting the work done. Going back to the fundamentals, working on the muscular endurance, working on the neuromuscular capacity. A lot of times initially, I won't lie to you, it's a little monotonous, especially when you're a veteran rider like I am. I know many of us are. Going back and repeating the fundamentals, it works, absolutely. But the initial phases, it's kind of tough to get that momentum started. The best thing you can hope for is getting the workouts, almost forcing yourself to do it, if you will, which I usually don't ever recommend, but for the first initial stages, especially of like a base program, if you're using CYCLO90 base or the Masters or any base program, is trying to gain some traction, okay? Know that everyone right now, in general, except for the robots that are out there, are struggling to kind of get their momentum back. So take heed and just know that you're not alone. Trying to gain some traction, getting 1 or 2 workouts completed, even if they're not completed at a great capacity or great quality, that's okay. You got it done, check off the box, try to gain some traction next time you come through. That's what I do. The past 2 workouts I've already done have been a disaster. And I'm good at what I do, and I still had disasters in general for me on those workouts. My next job is to try to do it again and let that traction begin to build. Second thing is, don't worry about your weight. I know it's really easy this time of year or any time of year when you put weight back on after you've taken it off to get hard on yourself. Oh my God, I'll never take that weight back off again. Try to remember what got you the weight off in the first place. More than likely, I'm going to take a stab in the dark here, you're probably more focused on your riding and enjoying yourself and maybe trying something new or exploring something different. And that's why the weight came off. The weight didn't come off because you were obsessing about dropping off the weight. I mean, I guess maybe that's the case for some of you, but any of you that have dropped weight in that way probably know it doesn't stay off for very long. You need to find another way around that. Finding the connection to why you're riding and enjoying why you're riding is more important. So gaining that traction with the workouts, setting yourself a goal. Again, whether it's, I would try to recommend not setting a weight goal. I definitely don't. I don't remember the last time I set a weight goal. I think it was bodybuilding, 15, 20 years ago. I'm done with that. And mostly because it's self-defeating. It doesn't make me happier to get to a specific weight because I know it's not reality all the time or not ongoing or not feasible to be ongoing all the time. So I focus more on how do I want to feel. I want to feel good. I want to feel strong. I want to feel leaner. I want to be riding stronger. I want to be accomplishing, this ride or that ride at this specific time. That helps me stay focused on getting through the tougher spots. And you're going to have those little ripples along the way. Frequency, intensity, and time is always a good recommendation. Again, don't try to focus on executing perfect workouts. So if you're using CYCLO90 with me or the Masters program, trying to stick with all the intensities, every drill, doing it perfectly. Don't expect that the first couple weeks. I know that I'm not doing that. I try to, but that doesn't mean I'm up to snuff with being able to even follow my own workouts perfectly. And it's not expected to. That's the whole point. That's why they work, is because you're constantly striving to move towards that progression, and that's what creates the results. So take heed with that as well. Metabolism first. Trying to focus on using the high intensity training to spark your metabolism. I would not recommend going on some kind of crash diet to lose that weight. Usually it's going to stump your energy. Also, conversely, trying to remove the crap that doesn't need to be there is a good idea. Adding more, water ongoing as much as you can this time of year is important. A lot of times you're very dehydrated. It's colder out for a lot of us, not all of us. I know it's cold here. It's 12 degrees out today. The dehydration lends itself to making your metabolism sluggish, your energy low. Simple things usually are the fast track to get back. If you're using CYCLO90, you didn't mention if you are here. I don't know if you are. If you are, the first couple weeks, stay with the beginner entry program. I have both the beginner and the advanced options in there per week. Stick with the basic, which is going to be more than hard enough. That's going to rev up your metabolism. That's going to help you gain the traction, hopefully. Get past those first 2 weeks, and I promise you, your energy will begin to come way back up. Once your energy's up, now begin to focus your mind on what is it you want. What do you want to feel? Because you can't decide that when you're in a hole. I know a lot of you try to do that. I know I've tried to do that. You can't decide what you want when you're not feeling good about yourself. The only way you can really decide correctly is to gain some traction. Let that traction create energy, and let that energy help you make the right decision for what you want to feel. Don't force it. I see cyclists do this all the time. Well, I'm going to do the same goals that I did last year. I'm going to bullet point this, and that's going to make me happy because it made me happy last year. Well, if you were monitoring me in 2013 and this last year in 2014, I tried to do that. Those of you that watch me all the time or listen to my podcast know. Did it work? Hell no, it didn't. It did the polar opposite. It's because I tried to do exactly what I'm advising you not to do right now. Next question. By the way, Charles, I hope that's helpful. Get your traction going. I guarantee you're going to start feeling better. All right, next question now. Let's get to Steve. Graeme, I'm using your CYCLO90 base training this winter to get stronger. Which of your workouts are best for climbing? That's what I want to focus on for 2015. I want to be a much better climber. Thanks for your help, Steve. Okay, when it comes to improving your climbing, whether you're using my program or not, it's important to understand that the fundamentals of cycling far outweigh the small details of improving your climbing. I think a lot of people, when they want to improve their climbing ability, they focus on hill repeats, they focus on climbing as many feet as they can, they focus on interval training on a trainer or otherwise, and these things are okay, but a lot of riders tend to miss the point. And the point is to refine 3 types of fundamentals, and it's real simple, and I've repeated this to the point of nausea. Number 1, improve your muscular endurance, your time under tension, your ability to maintain higher levels of load, whether it's with steeper gradients and or larger gears on the same gradients, meaning a tooth or 2 smaller in the rear, which of course increases your gear ratio, which increases your load potential, meaning how much power you're able to distribute at the same cadence. So cadence is going to be the dictator there. Improving the time under tension, how long you can hold higher levels of muscular endurance, will be the number 1 way to improve your climbing, whether it's for short, steep climbs, long gradient climbs, mountain climbs, ongoing rollers, does not matter. The important thing to note there is to improve muscular endurance doesn't require hills. Huh? Muscular endurance does not require hills. Go take an example of Eddie Merckx. Okay, Eddie Merckx came from where? Belgium. Is Belgium known for a lot of high mountainous regions? No, it's not. It's known for a lot of more rolling terrain and heavy winds. Did he have a lot of muscular endurance for Tour de France and otherwise? Absolutely he did. And I'm using that as an example because gaining muscular endurance requires simply adding tension to your body. Sounds easy enough. It really does. It's like, well, how hard is that? Well, doing it in a method that gains your results workout after workout, week after week is the most important thing. That's what I try to do in CYCLO90 Base and refine in CYCLO90 Masters, is to take your muscular endurance and expand it, elongate it, partition it, so we can use it in a variety of ways. And the base phase, of course, of your training, Steve, is this one, Steve? My thing shut off. Steve, is to prioritize that muscular endurance. Second thing is to prioritize your neuromuscular capacity. And again, we've talked about this again and again. If you want to climb hills better, you have to have the muscular endurance to do it. More importantly, you have to have the efficiency to do it. And this is what we call neuromuscular capacity, how well your brain communicates with your working muscles. Again, it sounds simple enough. It's already hot-wired when I'm born. What more work do I need to do? Well, to improve your climbing efficiency or just your cycling efficiency, regardless of the hills, we need to improve these connections. How fast they relay the information, how fast they work, how fast they recover between harder efforts. These things are critical for helping you improve not just your overall climbing ability, but your overall cycling ability. You give me a strong cyclist based on fundamentals, I'm going to give you a good climber. Period. Now, some of you might argue that weight is going to have a huge thing to do with it, and strength to weight ratio and all that stuff. Absolutely. But we're not going to talk about that in this video. I've talked about those things at length. And the reason why is that sometimes, for most of us as everyday cyclists, the most important things are going to be the fundamentals of what we can do to our bodies. And that in itself will lend to more power and efficiency. I'd rather have you become a more powerful, efficient rider than try to starve yourself and become a lighter rider. Now, in relation to that, I'm not going to say that losing a couple pounds as you get stronger isn't a good idea, but there's a timetable for everything. As we spoke about with Charles, the most important part is strong first, building those fundamental bases, getting that traction. Because once that's there, the weight's going to start to come off because of the training, because of the change in focus, because of the change in attitude. Don't try to do the reverse and try to crash diet yourself or starve yourself to become a better climber when your fundamentals still suck. It's time to really focus on what we know is going to gain you a foothold on better climbing and to be able to advance from there. The third thing, Steve, is then finally, once you have the muscular endurance in place, neuromuscular capacity in place, the final component becomes that aerobic and, in some degree, anaerobic capacity. How well your cardiopulmonary system distributes, both working oxygen to the working muscles and relieving itself, of course, of carbon dioxide and other chemicals that we need to alleviate to allow the engine to keep running smoothly. This comes from the muscular endurance and neuromuscular work. So if you're one of those riders that's trying to improve your climbing and banging your head against the wall because your climbing is just simply not improving no matter how many climbing repeats you do, it's time to sit back down and reassess. What am I actually working on that's going to help me improve my climbing capacity, my climbing muscular endurance, my climbing neuromuscular strength, or my neuromuscular connection, how quick and efficient I am on the bike. You can take the same power. So if you're able to throw out 250 watts at your threshold, regardless of terrain, and we can improve your efficiency in the hills, I can turn that 250 watts, as opposed to climbing maybe an 8% hill at 12 miles an hour, we're now climbing in the same gear or the same gear at a faster cadence at the same wattage at 12.5 miles an hour, 13 miles an hour, and you've saved energy. Remember, the end goal here is not to become the strongest rider possible. The end goal is to become the most efficient rider possible. There's a big difference between those two things. I meet many strong cyclists that have very poor efficiency, very poor fundamentals, that maybe on one hill or two can clobber it, but then they're off the back, or they're struggling, or they hit other sections and you can see huge weaknesses in their body simply because they haven't taken that strength and partitioned it the right way. So Steve and anyone else with any program, mine or otherwise, stop thinking about the hills, start thinking about fundamentals. Fundamentals traits for a better climber. Find me a climber in today's professional peloton or otherwise that doesn't have good fundamentals. And anyone that's in your local group that seems to be this God-given climber, stop focusing on their weight or their climbing wheels or how much money they spent on their bike. Focus on when you ride with them, and hopefully ride as long as you can up the hill with them. Focus on what they're doing. Focus on their skill, their body position, their fluidity of technique, the suppleness of their feet as they're rotating around. These things for most of us are not inherent. We have to practice and train these things, okay? And it's through the training. I know a lot of you tend to get confused. I know either you're new to Cyclo90 or you've tried a free workout of mine, and you've said, a lot of these techniques that Graeme does, where there's muscular endurance with 60 RPM gear ranges and things like that, well, I would never ride like that outside, and you're probably right. You would probably not want to go out for a group ride in May or June with friends for a long 60-miler and be pedaling at 60 RPM up the hills. Bad idea. However, within our training environment, on the trainer or otherwise, working on those things helps to escalate muscular endurance, neuromuscular capacity, aerobic and anaerobic efficiency, and it's that training adaptation that lends itself to June, July, or whenever it is. We are now pedaling at your optimized cadence in a larger gear, and you're smoking that group, you're kicking ass in that group because of the training effect. Stop focusing on the end result as you're doing it. Focus on the techniques and drills as I'm giving them to you, and I guarantee as they begin to mesh and coalesce together, you'll really begin to understand why they work so well. Steve, Charles, your questions are slightly different, but definitely joined at the hip. My friends, I hope this is helpful for you. Welcome to 2015. Hopefully for me it's going to be a better year this year. I don't know what my goals are yet this year. That's okay with me. It's not helping my training very much. I've got a bit of a sprained knee right now, so it's a little tough for me to get in the work that I want to get. But I don't worry about that right now. I worry on maintaining good mental and physical health to the best of my ability and moving forward from there. If you got any questions for me, leave them below. I'll do the best I can to answer them, of course. If you are looking for a great off-season training system, you're new to me, start with the Cyclo90 Base Original program. You can't beat it. 15% stronger, guaranteed in 90 days. 50,000 people proven that works. If you're an advanced level rider or you're a veteran rider, Cyclo90, look to the Masters program. Just like Cyclo90, the original, it's more refined, and I'm going to take what we did well and make it even better. So this week again, with a smile on your face, I'll talk to you soon.